Today we're diving deep into a treasure trove of little-known facts about this military giant, stuff they don't always teach you in history class. From symbolic patches with surprising origins to the Army's unexpected role in space exploration, we're diving deep into 10 surprising facts about the US Army. Let's jump in. Alright, let's kick things off with a bit of symbolism. The 45th Infantry Division's patch originally featured a swastika. Before you freak out, remember that symbols can have different meanings. The swastika was a symbol of peace and good fortune in various cultures, especially in India and among Native American tribes. For the 45th Infantry Division, it honored the Native American soldiers in their ranks. But then, the 1930s happened, and the Nazis adopted the swastika, associating it with hate and genocide. Naturally, the US Army had to make a change. In 1939, the 45th Infantry Division adopted a new symbol, the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird is a powerful figure in Native American mythology, associated with strength, courage, and protection. It was a perfect fit for the division, honoring their heritage while reflecting their military might. The Thunderbird became one of the most recognizable and respected symbols in the US Army. It's a reminder that symbols can change, evolve, and take on new meanings over time. Ever wondered who mapped out the vast American wilderness? A big shout-out goes to the US Army. One of the most famous examples is the Lewis and Clark Expedition, commissioned by President Thomas Jefferson in 1800. The Army played a crucial role, providing manpower, supplies, and expertise to map the unknown. They faced dense forests, treacherous mountains, unpredictable weather, and encounters with Native American tribes. Through it all, the Army persevered, meticulously documenting the land, rivers, and resources they encountered. They created detailed maps, journals, and drawings that gave Americans their first real glimpse of the West. The Army continued to play a vital role in mapping America throughout the 19th century. They surveyed roads, canals, and railroads, helping to connect the expanding nation and fuel economic growth. Even today, the Army Corps of Engineers continues to be a major player in mapping and surveying. So, the next time you use your GPS, appreciate the contributions of the US Army. Time for a music break. The US Army didn't get its official song until 1956. For almost 2 centuries, the Army marched to the beat of borrowed tunes. Finally, in 1956, the Army held a competition, and "The Army Goes Rolling Along" stood out. Composed by Field Artillery Band leader Edmund L. Gruber, the song captured the spirit of the Army. The lyrics evoke images of soldiers marching into battle, cannons firing, and the unbreakable bond between comrades. The music is both stirring and memorable, instantly recognizable as an anthem of strength and determination. Today, "The Army Goes Rolling Along" is played at every Army ceremony, from recruit graduations to parades. It's a symbol of unity, pride, and the enduring legacy of the US Army. Even though the Army didn't get its official song until later, it certainly made up for the lost time. The song quickly caught on with soldiers and civilians alike. 4. Presidential connections. Being the Commander-in-Chief of the US Armed Forces is a big deal. A surprising number of US presidents have actually served in the Army themselves. 24 US presidents have worn the Army uniform. George Washington was a military leader before he was president. He led the Continental Army to victory in the Revolutionary War. Dwight D. Eisenhower led the largest amphibious invasion in history, D-Day. His military background gave him a deep understanding of international affairs. The connection between the Army and the presidency runs deep in American history. So, the next time you're looking at a portrait of a US president, take a closer look. 5. The Army in space. When you think of space exploration, you probably picture NASA. But did you know that the US Army has also played a significant role in space exploration? The Army has been involved in space exploration since the very beginning, conducting research, developing technologies, and even sending their own astronauts into orbit. One notable example is Colonel Douglas Wheelock, a US Army astronaut who served on the International Space Station. Wheelock spent 178 days aboard the ISS, conducting scientific experiments, performing spacewalks, and even commanding the station. The Army's involvement in space goes beyond just sending astronauts into orbit. They've been instrumental in developing technologies essential for space exploration, like rocket propulsion systems and communication satellites. 6. Army size compared to cities. The US Army is massive, with over 1 million active and reserve soldiers. To put that in perspective, imagine a city populated entirely by soldiers. New York City has over 8 million people and the Army has over 1 million soldiers. Los Angeles boasts a population of nearly 4 million people. The Army, with its vast network of bases, training facilities and deployed units, could easily rival these cities in terms of population density and logistical complexity. Think about the infrastructure required to support such a massive organization: housing, food, healthcare, transportation, training facilities, equipment depots. The Army is like a well-oiled machine, with each part working in sync to ensure the readiness and effectiveness of the force. So, the next time you hear someone mention the US Army, think of a sprawling city, a complex organism, a force to be reckoned with. It's an organization of immense scale and capability. The Army is entrusted with protecting the nation's interests at home and abroad. Let's talk real estate for a second. The US Army owns a ridiculous amount of land. We're talking millions of acres spread out across the United States. The Army is one of the largest landowners in the country. To give you a sense of scale, think about some of the smallest states in the US. The Army owns bases that are larger than both Delaware and Rhode Island combined. These aren't just military bases, they're practically self-sustaining cities with their own housing, schools, hospitals, shopping centers, and even entertainment venues. The Army's land holdings are strategically positioned across the country, providing access to different terrains, climates, and training environments. They've got bases in deserts, forests, mountains, and coastlines, ensuring that soldiers are prepared to deploy to any corner of the globe. So the next time you're looking at a map of the US, appreciate the vastness of the Army's land holdings. It's a testament to their commitment to national security and their need for diverse training environments. 8. Fuel for the fight. War machines need fuel. The US Army, with its massive fleet of vehicles and aircraft, has an insatiable thirst for fuel. Back in World War II, the average soldier needed about 1 gallon of fuel per day. Today, the average soldier requires a staggering 22 gallons of fuel per day. This number only accounts for fuel used directly by soldiers in combat zones. Every time a tank rolls across the desert, every time a helicopter lifts off the ground, every time a plane takes to the skies, it's guzzling down fuel. Modern militaries rely heavily on technology, and technology requires power. The Army's logistical operations are nothing short of mind-blowing. They've got to ensure a constant supply of fuel to every corner of the battlefield, often in challenging and dangerous conditions. So the next time you fill up your gas tank, spare a thought for the US Army and their insatiable thirst for fuel. 9. The Old Guard. Let's talk about one of the most solemn traditions in the US Army, guarding the tomb of the unknown soldier. Located in Arlington National Cemetery, this tomb honors unidentified service members. Guarding this site is the elite Old Guard, or the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment. These soldiers are hand-selected for their discipline and dedication. Every hour, the Guard is changed in a meticulously choreographed ceremony. It represents their commitment to duty and respect for the fallen. The Old Guard's motto is Noli Me Tangere, meaning touch me not. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Army history and surprises. We hope you learned something new today. Which fact was your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to share if you have your own Army trivia to add. And as always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more fascinating military history. Until next time, stay curious.